Hello, my name is Manny Soda, and this video is all about my extremely not prejudiced. I keep forgetting the word extremely biased. Why do I keep... Should I go to therapy? Anyways, this video is all about my extremely biased prediction for Group D of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. As past videos, I'm going to be talking about each country individually first, and then I'm going to use that information to make predictions about how the games are going to be played. So let's meet the teams for Group D. Group D consists of European region representative France, Asia region representative Australia, European region representative Denmark, and Africa region representative Tunisia. By most accounts and most predictions, France and Denmark are the ones that are expected to qualify from this group. However, I'm kind of saying they might be a surprise here. Might. Let's see. The current World Cup champs will be defending their trophy at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. They began their road towards the World Cup by being placed in Group D alongside Ukraine, Finland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Kazakhstan. They got a double win over Kazakhstan and Finland. They got a win and a tie against Bosnia and Herzegovina, and a surprise double tie against Ukraine. In this instance, France qualified directly. They're at the World Cup, and they seem to be arriving in good form for the World Cup. However, as past champions have shown, they have also arrived to the World Cup in form only to have a surprise exit. If you ask me, I think France is capable of breaking that curse of being the champion that gets past the group stage. And people will note for what's going on with France in the UEFA Nations League. They're trying out new players. They're trying out, like their depth and how great they are. Fair enough, those players should be getting wins and ties. The fact that they're at the bottom right now in the Nations League does not look good for them. And if this is just the beginning of their troubles, 100% France could succumb to the curse. Fun fact about France: they originally didn't qualify to the 1950 World Cup. Turkey withdrew, and so France was invited, and they accepted. The funny part is that France afterwards also withdrew, citing the concern over their traveling lengths between the two teams that they were going to face in that group. So the question for France: will France be able to produce good fruit and break World Cup curse? Or will France be yet another victim? What a path for Australia to get to this point. Australia began their road to the World Cup in the second round of the AFC qualifiers. They were placed in Group B alongside with Kuwait, Jordan, Nepal, and China Taipei. They got a double victory over all of them, scored over 25 goals and only conceded 2. However, once the third round started, it told a different story. Australia was placed in Group B alongside Saudi Arabia, Japan, Oman, China, and Vietnam. They got a double win only against Vietnam. They got a win and a tie against Oman and China. They got a double loss against Japan, and a loss and a tie against Saudi Arabia. With those Results: Australia had to go then play the third best placed team in Group A, which was United Arab Emirates. They had a playoff match where Australia won 2-1 after a hard-fought battle in where most predictions believed that Australia would easily dispatch of UAE. However, that wasn't the case. It was only 2-1, and United Arab Emirates actually tied Australia 1-1, forcing Australia to go find that second goal. With Australia having won, they then went on to play Peru for a spot at the World Cup. The Intercontinental Playoff went all the way to penalties. They were 0-0, and by all accounts, Peru looked to be the closer to scoring that goal, but they were unable to. Then in penalties, Australia would win, and Australia would then become the 31st team to qualify to the World Cup. The problem with Australia is that their game has been on the downfall. It could be possible that they could be the surprise team in this group, or they could be the worst team in this group. Fun fact about Australia. Australia is the nation with most appearances at an intercontinental playoff match, with a total of 7. So the question for Australia: will they be able to use this excitement to better their game at the World Cup and be the surprise club? Or will Australia's hard-fought struggle to get to this point be all for nothing? The dark horse of the tournament. Denmark began their road to the FIFA World Cup 2022 in the UEFA qualifications in Group F, alongside with Scotland, Israel, Austria, Faroe Islands, and Moldova. Denmark is on a roll, and a big one too. They dispatched all of their opponents except for one match, which was against Scotland, where they had a loss. But this Denmark is not to be messed with. They had a great run in the Euro 2020 when they went all the way to the semifinals, losing to England only by a dubious penalty. Other than that, they've been on fire. So much that I had to go online to find something wrong with the team. And it looks like the most criticized thing about the team is the individualism of each player. Essentially, if one player is having a bad day, the rest of the team just kind of succumbs. It was really hard for Denmark to come back from that goal that they got against Scotland. There was a little miscommunication. They're going to have to keep their heads focused 90% plus minutes if necessary. Otherwise, Denmark's good run could all come crashing down. Fun fact about Denmark: out of the 5 World Cups they have been in, they have qualified past the group stage 4 out of 5 times. So the question for Denmark: will they be able to continue this momentum going, or is this simply just a good phase? Tunisia is back at it again at the World Cup. They were placed in Group B alongside Equatorial Guinea, Zambia, and Mauritania. They got a double win only against Zambia. They got a win and a tie against Mauritania, and a win and a loss against Equatorial Guinea. They were then drawn against Mali to be one of 5 teams to qualify to the World Cup. They did win on aggregate 1-0, but the problem with Tunisia is that they struggled to get to the World Cup. Even with dominant performances at their home ground, Tunisia wasn't able to really dispatch any of their opponents. So much that at one point it looked possible that Mali could be the one to eliminate Tunisia. And if they're struggling in their own confederation against teams that are seen weaker or lower on rankings, it could be possible that Tunisia is on their way to a world of hurt at the World Cup. Fun fact about Tunisia: when the whistle blows on their first match at this year's World Cup, they will be tied alongside Morocco and Nigeria to be the African teams with most World Cup appearances, a total of 6. So the question for Tunisia: will they be able to show better football, better skills, better anything, or will their struggles finally catch up to them? Alright, so now that all of that has been put into place, let's finally get to the predictions. Denmark versus Tunisia. The last time these two played was all the way back in 2002, where Denmark won, and I think it's going to be a repeat, as I'm predicting Denmark to take the 3-0 win over Tunisia. France versus Australia. They faced each other last World Cup in 2018, and France won with a very dubious penalty. Either way, I think this time Australia will actually be able to get the tie. I'm predicting this game to end in a 1-1 draw. That means that after the first round, this is how I'm predicting the group to look like. Tunisia versus Australia. These are new times for both of these teams, and I think Australia is going to get just by the edge, a 2-1 victory over Tunisia. Denmark versus France. These two have been growing a little bit of a rivalry, all the way from the Nations League to the last World Cup. For this one, I am predicting Denmark to take the win, a 1-0 at least, in my opinion. That means that after the second round, this is how I am predicting the group to look like. Australia versus Denmark. At this point, Denmark would have cemented their dominance, so I'm predicting this game to end in a 1-3 in favor of Denmark. Tunisia versus France. Not much to this game. I think France will be able to beat Tunisia. A 0-2 final score in favor of France. Not much to it, just going out there and getting the win. So after the third round, this is how I am predicting the group to end up, with Denmark in first and France is second, only by goal difference. That is my predictions. So those are my predictions for Group D. Some of you may agree, others will completely agree. I mean, obviously, I know there's going to be a lot of people that could disagree, and that's okay with me. Honestly, as I've said before, I'm okay with taking L's. At the end of the day, the players that get called up, they're going to play the matches. Those are the ones that are going to make the final decision, the real score for all of us. And then some of us will look like, I'm a genius, and others going to be like, why? So this is the end of the video. Make sure you continue to watch your favorite sport, even if it isn't soccer, even if you're just here to see how dumb his predictions are. It's okay with me. So yeah, be good, stay healthy, and everything else. Be happy, be good, be healthy, and God bless.